Young Avengers, Heroes of Tomorrow is such a strange movie. Not only did it come out in the same year as the first Iron Man movie, but it was also produced by Kevin Feige, was made by Lionsgate, and was about the children of the Avengers. And yet for some reason this movie never took off. Even now I'm yet to really hear anybody talk about this movie on the internet. Even Lionsgate doesn't seem to really care about it, considering the full movie's up on YouTube in HD. So, who are the next Avengers? Well, I'll let the trailer guy explain it.
The children of Captain America and Black Widow, Thor, Black Panther, Hawkeye, Giant Man and Wasp must join forces with Iron Man and the Hulk smash to become the next Avenger.
Next Avengers, Heroes of Tomorrow takes place in a dystopian reality in which Ultron has killed all the Avengers, quote unquote. He hasn't. Spoiler alert, Hulk is still alive, obviously Iron Man is still alive, and Thor is still alive, and he seemed to have abandoned his own child, which is really strange. First off, are we gonna get into the fact that Tony Stark by himself was the only person who raised these kids, which is really weird when you think about it. How did these kids not turn out super messed up? I mean, this guy raised them. I mean, Torrin has this weird accent which doesn't make much sense considering that she was raised by Tony Stark. Also, considering who Pym and Ezra's parents are, shouldn't they both be geniuses who are on the level, if not above, Tony Stark? Just saying. Also, how have these kids not gotten angry and killed each other yet? I mean, Torrin's a literal Asgardian. If she decides to get angry at Pym, she could easily kill him. All he has is that tech suit, which Tony Stark had to have built for him. Why would Tony Stark build him a tech suit to just walk around in casually? Well, I guess float around. I just don't get it. So now that I've properly roasted the main characters, let's actually get into the movie itself. So we end up starting out with this story time in which Tony explains to these kids the origin of the Avengers. This is about 12 years before the main story picks up. So they call the Avengers things like the Giant, the Soldier, the Pixie, the Ghost. You get what I'm saying? But the thing I do think is kind of funny is how they just kind of gloss over Storm. The king met his queen. At first, I thought that this was for legal reasons, but considering that Lionsgate also made movies like Wolverine vs. Hulk and Deadpool type of stuff, I don't think that's the reason. Still think it's strange, though. After this 12-year time skip, we end up moving on to a scene in which Ezra and Pym are playing tag. Side note, why does Torrin have her Asgardian accent even though she wasn't raised by Asgardians, but Ezra doesn't have an accent at all?
That's not how tag works, Torrin. You're supposed to run from Pym, not attack us.
That's a human rule. An immortal Asgardian warrior runs from no one. You, Pym, and James are about to taste my sword's wrath. Hey, I mean forsooth.
Wrong, Pantheon, Torrin, wrong, Pantheon. You're Norse, not Greco-Roman. So this is where we meet James, the son of Captain America and the Black Widow. In a lot of ways, he represents your average My Hero Academia fan. Just kidding. He's not that weird. He low-key just doesn't give an F. Messy and unorganized. Vision's in this movie, which is weird, because Tony was in contact with Vision and knew that Vision was alive. This means that not only was Iron Man alive, Hulk was still alive, the Vision was still alive, and Thor was still alive. Literally the most powerful Avengers were still all alive and never died. This always irked me as a kid because they're all still alive. You telling me that throughout all this time they just let Ultron take the world over? When I was looking up this movie a few years ago, I actually found out something pretty funny. So, apparently, these characters do exist within the Marvel Comics multiverse, and they're all from Earth 10943. They've also crossed over into the main Marvel Comics timeline before. So it's no secret that the plot of this movie really just revolves around the next Avengers fighting Ultron, which, might I add, has an incredible voice.
Hulk is a human delusion. Our Iron Avengers are under my control now.
Along the way, they meet Hawkeye's son, who's also called Hawkeye. We don't know who his mother is, though. But we do know he's a pretty big Danny Phantom fan, and he has a thing for Torin. I just want to get this out of the way really quickly. The animation in this movie looks absolutely incredible. I actually wish that What If looked like this. I think that Torin and James' designs are just absolutely incredible. I think Torin's design is probably the best. But I gotta say, Azari's design is just, weird looking. I don't like the short hair, no sleeves look. I really wish they, incorporated the Black Panther cowl or did, a teen version of the Black Panther. So, yeah, overall, I think this movie was pretty good. I think it's my favorite out of the Marvel Lionsgate animated films, and it's a real shame it never got a sequel. I hope that we can one day get a successor to this, whether that's in animated or comic form.